can have two workers with the same resume, the same forklift cert, the same years in a warehouse, and within a month, one is the supervisor's go-to person and the other is already on their third assignment. That gap, it is almost never about the toolbox. It is about soft skills.
Yes, and what I love is when a supervisor says, "Keep sending me people like Alex, but not like Jordan." And when you ask why, they say something super vague like, "Alex just gets it." Today, we are going to unpack what "gets it" actually means.
Welcome to Workers.com Staffing Pulse, Insights from the Front Line. I am Jennifer, Personnel Manager and your co-host.
And I am Sam, Staffing Manager and co-host. If you work in industrial or light industrial staffing, or you are trying to land better warehouse or plant floor jobs, you are in the right place.
Today, we are going beyond the toolbox. We are breaking down the soft skills that actually make or break industrial hires, and how to spot them, ask about them, and show them off without using buzzwords.
So whether you are filling 50 picker-packer roles, or you are just trying to stop bouncing between temp assignments, stick with us. This can change the way you talk about fit on your next job order or your next interview.
Let's start with the problem. Right now, most conversations about soft skills on the floor sound like this. We need someone with a good attitude, strong work ethic, team player. It feels clear, but it is actually so vague.
Exactly. One supervisor's good attitude means never questions anything. Another supervisor's good attitude means they speak up when something looks unsafe. Those are very different people.
And when we use fuzzy words, three things happen. First, hiring gets inconsistent. Two recruiters, same order, completely different idea of who is a match. Second, expectations are mismatched. The worker thinks, I am doing fine, but the supervisor quietly disagrees. And third, performance issues get labeled as bad fit instead of something you can coach.
I also see it hurt job seekers. A candidate says, "I have a strong work ethic." The recruiter writes that down. The employer hears it from everyone. And no one knows what it looks like until the first late arrival or the first time they get flustered when a line goes down.
So the real challenge is taking those fuzzy words and turning them into specific, observable behaviors, something you can actually see on a shift, or hear in a short interview answer, or confirm in a reference check.
Once you name the behavior, it stops feeling like a guessing game. You are not hiring for vibes anymore. You are hiring for what people actually do under pressure, around others, and over time.
All right, let's get really practical. For employers and staffing pros, here are 5 soft skills that matter most on the warehouse or plant floor, and what they look like in real life.
Number 1, reliability. Everyone says they want it, but how does it actually show up day to day?
Reliability is not just, do they show up? It is, do they show up on time, in the right gear, ready to start? Do they communicate when something changes? Do they finish a task all the way, labels on, pallets wrapped, area clean, without someone chasing them?
I think of the person who texts their recruiter before the shift if their ride falls through, instead of ghosting. That is reliability in the real world, even if they are still figuring out transportation.
Second, communication. And no, this does not mean giving a TED Talk on the loading dock.
It is the basics. If they do not understand an instruction, do they ask? When a machine sounds off, do they tell someone or just keep running it? Can they say, "Hey, I am new to this process. Can you walk me through it again without shutting down?"
Exactly. Good floor communication is short, clear, and timely. It keeps things moving and keeps people safe. Third, teamwork. In industrial environments, this is huge. You do not move 2,000 boxes a night by yourself.
Teamwork looks like jumping in on another line when yours is slow. It is swapping tasks to help someone hit a time target. It is not disappearing right before cleanup or always grabbing the easiest job in the rotation.
Fourth, coachability. This one for me separates short-term bodies from long-term performers.
Yes, a coachable worker might make mistakes, especially at first, but you do not have to reteach the same thing over and over. They listen to feedback, try a new way, and you see improvement the next shift.
And they do not get defensive or shut down when someone corrects them. They might not love it, none of us do, but they stay engaged. Finally, number 5, situational awareness and a safety mindset.
This is the person who notices a spill and grabs a cone or tells a lead instead of stepping over it 10 times. Or they slow down a hair at a blind corner with a pallet jack instead of racing through.
They follow lockout tagout. They keep their PPE on and they look around at people, equipment, and product before making a move. That awareness keeps everyone going home in one piece.
So, to recap those 5 for employers and staffing pros: reliability, communication, teamwork, coachability, and situational awareness with a safety mindset. Those are your core behaviors to define, look for, and reward.
Now the big question. How do you actually assess these in real life, especially when you only have a 10-minute phone screen or a quick on-site interview?
Let's keep this simple and fast. Think in 3 buckets: interview questions, quick work history probes, and focused reference checks.
For interviews, avoid yes or no questions like, "Are you reliable?" Everybody just says yes. Instead, ask for a short story. For reliability, try, "Tell me about a time you had to get to a shift or class on a tough day. What did you do to make it on time?"
You are listening for concrete actions: setting an extra alarm, arranging a backup ride, calling ahead if they were running late. If their answer is just, "I always make it," and they cannot give one example, that is a clue.
For communication, you might ask, "Tell me about a time you did not understand instructions at work or school. What did you do?" Someone with good communication will mention asking questions, double-checking with a coworker, or confirming with a supervisor.
Teamwork? Go with, think about a time a group you were in was behind, on a shift, a project, even a team sport. What did you do to help the group? You want to hear them talk about noticing others, sharing workload, or volunteering for less fun tasks.
For coachability, I like, "Tell me about a time a supervisor or teacher gave you feedback you did not love. What happened next?" The gold answers include phrases like, "I thought about it later and tried it their way," or "I asked them to show me again so I could improve."
And for situational awareness and safety, describe a time you noticed something that could cause a problem: safety, quality, or timing. What did you do? You are looking for them to say they spoke up, fixed it if they could, or told the right person.
Now, quick work history probes. Even in a tight screen, you can ask, walk me through your last job. Who did you report to? What did a normal day look like? When things got busy, what changed for you? This reveals patterns, how they handle pace, who they lean on, and how they talk about past supervisors.
And please, do not skip references if you can help it. They do not have to be long. For reliability, ask a previous supervisor, if you could rate their on time and attendance from 1 to 10, what number would you give? And why? The why is where the truth is.
You can hit multiple soft skills with one reference question. When things got busy or stressful, how did they respond? You will hear whether they shut down, powered through, helped others, or caused problems.
The goal is not perfection. It is consistency. Use the same short set of questions across candidates and across recruiters, so you are comparing similar information, not just gut feelings.
All right, job seekers, let's talk directly to you for a minute. You might be thinking, I do not have fancy examples. I have just worked shifts, helped family, done school. That is exactly where your best soft skills stories live.
Yes, you do not need corporate buzzwords. You just need real-life moments. Think in terms of, what was going on? What did I do? What happened because of it?
For reliability, maybe you helped get younger siblings to school while working an early shift. You could say, I was responsible for getting my brothers ready and still making it to my 6 a.m. shift. I set 2 alarms and had my clothes ready the night before. I did that for 2 years and only missed 1 shift. That tells me so much more than I have a strong work ethic.
For teamwork, maybe you played on a sports team or worked on a group project. You might say, our team was behind on a big order, so I offered to stay late and also switch to the station that was backed up. We ended up finishing on time. Short, concrete, powerful.
Coachability could come from a tough moment. For example, my supervisor told me my pallet stacking was not stable enough. At first, I was frustrated, but I asked her to show me the right way, and I practiced it for the next few days. My error rate went down, and she started trusting me with more complicated orders. That shows growth.
For situational awareness and safety, you might say, I noticed a loose piece of shrink wrap near the conveyor that people kept stepping on, so I stopped what I was doing, removed it, and let my lead know to check that area. Again, simple, real, effective.
If you struggle to find work examples, think about school, volunteering, or family responsibilities. Did you organize rides for a church group? Did you babysit and manage meals and homework? Did you help an older relative track medications? All of those moments can show reliability, communication, teamwork, and awareness.
And a quick tip on language. Recruiters and supervisors listen for phrases like, I took responsibility for, I followed up by, I noticed that, so I. At first it was hard, but I learned to. When you talk that way, you are painting a picture of your soft skills without ever saying the words soft skills.
Let's bring this home for the staffing pros and hiring managers. Once you know what you are looking for, you want that language baked into how you work every day.
Start with job orders and intake calls. Instead of just saying, we need strong work ethic, ask the supervisor, walk me through a great worker you have now. What do they actually do that makes you want them back? Then listen for those 5 soft skills and translate them.
You can even mirror it back. For example, so when you say strong work ethic, it sounds like you mean on time every day, communicates about issues early, and willing to rotate to other lines when needed. Did I get that right? Now you have shared concrete expectations.
In job postings, move beyond team player and write 1 or 2 simple behaviors, like you communicate with your lead when something looks off, or you are comfortable helping teammates in other areas when production needs it. That attracts the people who actually do those things.
And in your candidate notes, skip phrases like good attitude. Instead, write what you observed. Confirmed a 2-year stretch with no unexcused absences. Or asked clarifying questions about safety procedures. Or gave example of staying late to help another department finish an order.
That way, when a supervisor calls asking, "Who do you have?" you are not just saying, "Oh, she is great." You are saying, "I have someone who has handled last-minute overtime, communicates clearly when she is unsure, and has a strong safety mindset." That is a very different conversation.
Before we close, let's recap the 3 big insights from today.
First, words like good attitude and strong work ethic are too vague on their own. You need to translate them into specific, observable behaviors on the floor.
Second, the 5 critical soft skills for industrial and light industrial roles are reliability, communication, teamwork, coachability, and situational awareness with a safety mindset, each one visible in everyday actions.
Third, you can assess and showcase these soft skills quickly using short story-based questions, focused reference checks, and simple, real-life examples from work, school, or family responsibilities.
1 action item for employers and staffing pros. Pick 1 job order you are working on today and rewrite the soft skill part. Turn good attitude into 2 or 3 clear behaviors you can interview for and share with your team.
And 1 action item for job seekers. Write down 2 short stories, just a few sentences each, that show reliability and teamwork from your real life. Practice saying them out loud so they are ready the next time someone asks, "Tell me about yourself." Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Workers.com Staffing Pulse.
Let's dive in on your next shift or your next requisition with a sharper view of soft skills. And until next time, stay safe and keep building strong teams.